Nice to have you join in. We're gonna see what wants to show up today. We're gonna talk about the magical ways you can boost your creativity. So if you are a creative, some YouTuber, an artist, a screenwriter, a writer, a poet, a musician, someone who maybe just really feels called to explore creativity, or maybe you're like kind of like at the edge of, am I really even that? I don't even know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, welcome to the club. It's okay to not know. That's why we do these things. This is why we connect with the spiritual side of our world, of our reality, because there's two worlds, right? There's the material or physical world and spiritual world. We can see these as the like duality of life. And it's important that you recognize that when we do like an impact or make an impact on one of those, whether you do something in the physical world, like our challenges that we've been doing, right? This past week, the challenge was use your non dominant hand or create your own if you felt called to. And this was an action in the physical world that then what happens is it starts to ripple into the spiritual, into the non physical world. And you can do the same opposite. You know, this is why you meditate, you silence the mind, you enter into a state of altered consciousness, and then it starts to shift your physical world. So, this is kind of what we're talking about. Let me know if you did do the challenge for this week, or if you made your own. I'd love to hear what you made, what you created, what you did, or how the experience was for you to use your non dominant hand. I'm a lefty, so I use my right hand for all sorts of different things, like lighting a match with the right hand instead of with my left, things like this. I was hoping to do it for like the whole day, but then it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I have so many things to do, and my impatience got the better of me. But one thing I would say, yeah, it was just required so much more awareness and patience, especially doing things that like I very rarely do with my right hand. There's some things that like opening a cupboard while pouring my tea, I could do kind of with any hand. But other things like brushing my teeth, which is one that I try to do every once in a while with the right, it's still, I notice it can be a bit of a challenge. And let me know, how was it for you this week? How did you make out with all of that? Okay, I have some notes here. And I wanted like just start off to those of you who are like maybe not familiar with the concept of magic, what that might mean. And who else to quote than Aleister Crowley himself? He says, magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with your will or with will. And so I love how he uses both science and art. It's about like experimentation and it becomes an art. It's about being willing to fail and do things like time and time again and to see how that's going to actually make a change in your reality. So, magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will, with what it is that you feel the call is for you to explore, to experience. And so many of you, maybe at the beginning of your like creative venture, me, I used to be a psych nurse. I worked in like a private practice and the crisis team. I did a lot of things prior that were very much conventional world. And then it started to come in where I'm like, oh my gosh, like music, this sense of creativity, film, making these videos, sharing inspiration is like, it's been there, but it wasn't really at the forefront. And you know what? I'm 39 now. So I don't think it matters the age in which you create the changes in your life. It's what you're feeling that call your will, right? What is leading you to the next step. And it's been a bit of a challenge. It's been a learning. And I really am wanting to share more things that are going to inspire you. And I did leave a link because there's an event coming up. The 2nd of February, we're going to start. It's kind of just a do it as you will, work on the lessons as they show up in your mailbox. It's the 5 days to like fuck the blocks and unleash your creativity. So you can check out the link after. I'll mention it again. But this idea of magic and how it can boost your creativity, we're going to explore some of those things. And I really feel like there's just so much to talk about. I'm going to check the comments here because I'm curious how your weeks have been or week has been. Hello, Meredith. Hello. I found out about it late last night as I've been sick, so did not really do it. Oh, that's okay. Oh, I'm sorry you're still feeling unwell. Yeah. It's never too late. We're going to pull another card to have another challenge this week, or if you would like to stick with that old challenge and or even mix it in with whatever other one we pull, that is up to you. So, um, I went to an open mic last night and I shared some songs. And at the very end, I was like gonna leave, but you're there, more people are going up, whatever. It was really cool. It was like a woman's only open mic. I've never been to something like that. It was very like soulful, people who are kind of a bit more conscious. And at the end, one individual decided to go up and started with what they called a trauma dump. And, as this individual was sharing, I just really had a lot of like judgments coming up. A lot of judgments on like, why would you do this here? And like, I don't think this is really fair for everyone else to be sitting in on. It's like with your friends, okay, you want to share. But it just like gave me so much perspective around the concept of being in victim mode. And you're probably wondering, why is she bringing this up? Because I actually believe that when we do magic, when we do ritual, when we are focused on the more spiritual side of things, it's going to impact our physical world, meaning it's going to help us to shift the energies that maybe are not really benefiting us or working in our favor in the physical reality. And this includes that victim mentality. Victim mentality is like you've probably had some horrible things done to you over your years. Maybe you had like shitty parents, maybe you were abused, maybe you didn't get that job or promotion and you have this like guilt or shame, jealousy, whatever. There's so many things that can happen to us in our lifetime that can put us in a state of woe is me, this didn't work out for me, I'm a victim, everyone else gets something better, those people have it out for me, whatever the case might be. And this is kind of what I was witnessing in this share last night, was an individual with this like victim state wanting to share. And magic happens in all sorts of forms. You may not even think, if you're listening to someone, this is where we have to be conscious. You're listening to people, creators, musicians, whoever, that are kind of putting out really negative victim mode shit. You're only introducing more of that into your life. And this isn't about being like love and light only. This is about recognizing when people are in their shit and just complaining to complain and get your energy, because you listening to it is going to take the energy. And I was like, I need to just fucking get out of here and walk out. I cannot. And it was also interesting because it led me to this like remembering of my past victim stories, because I'm telling you, none of us are perfect or innocent of any of these things. And this was a huge thing I did within the shamanic healing, ancestral healing, just doing the work, is recognizing when we're in victim mode and reframing that story, reframing it so that it doesn't turn into a woe is me. So if you are finding you're like stuck in your creativity, if you're finding that you are not making the strides that you thought you could, I want to invite you to just really honestly ask yourself, like, am I in victim mode? Am I like having a pity party here or hoping other people will have pity on me? Because that is not being empowered, and that's going to hold you back. And the big steps here is we're going to talk about ritual, and you can do these sorts of things to ask or pray for the ability to let go of those old stories so that you can step into the empowered state. And one of those things you can do is like reframing the story. Literally like write down the event that happened to you and then rewrite it in a way of, what were the positives? What did you learn about this? What was your power in the situation? For me, a huge like trauma victim or huge victim story was my time working with the RCMP, so Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I wasn't like an employee of them, I was working with the healthcare system, but alongside a police officer in this team. And I had been with this team for like a long time. And I'm not going to get into a victim story about it because I feel like it's such an old fucking story. But what happened was a bunch of things with security clearance because I guess no one trusts me. And it led to this whole huge, like, fucking blow up. And it was really, it was quite, it's funny, like, thinking back to it. At the time, I was like, what the heck? And feeling so, like, like separate and not, like, good enough and all these things. And I really carried that story and would tell it in a way that, like, I was hoping people would have pity for me. But really, what it was doing was like just keeping me small, keeping me capped at this particular level. And then, like I said, just doing this work and healing, I started to recognize, like, you know what? Yeah, there were some like sucky things that happened there for sure. You know, your trauma, your past, the abuses you've gone through. I'm not saying that those things are okay, but what I'm saying and encouraging you to do is look at your life, look at those experiences from a new lens and be like, hey, what were the empowering pieces I've taken from that? For me, it was like, I can speak what I need and want, and everything is going to work out exactly the way it needs to. That I am so powerful, I'm able to fucking like shift programs. Let's just put it that way. Like, so powerful that I can make that much of an impact because of my like weirdness, I guess you could say, my bizarre choices in life that not everyone, especially within certain structures or systems, will agree with. But that's what makes us so unique as creatives. That's what makes us powerful trailblazers and shifters. So you are that. You're here, you're listening, you're watching, you're curious about what that means for you. And now it's about embodying a new way, embodying this empowered self. Okay. So really what happens when we shift, we get like more clarity. When we go from that victim mode to empowerment, we feel more clear about what we're going to do. We feel like we can create things without being held back from our past. And we're not living in the past. We're living in the present moment. We're getting to the place of like, okay, what are the next steps? We're open and curious about where it's all going to take us. And this can look like all sorts of ways. To me, magic and ritual can help. And when we do magic, like I said, and maybe you're asking or intending for something in your physical, maybe you're intending, okay, I want to be able to write like more songs in a month period. I want to be able to really tune into the inspiration that like gives me the words to put on the page, whatever it might be. The magic is going to like bring you that, but it's going to have to clear a path. And usually that clearing of a path is clearing the old mindsets, the old beliefs, the old stories, the old ways of which you were doing things. For me, a huge thing has been doing magic towards like having this level of success that I feel like called to experience in this lifetime. And a lot of the clearing that's happened has been things that I'm like, oh my gosh, it can be intense. I think this is why most people say, stay away from magic, don't do it. It's bad, it's evil. It's because it can shake things up. But to me, if you're here and you're like curious about this, then it's like you're ready for that. You need to step through the fear, right? Because it's going to just continue to cap you where you're at, no growth, no next level, whatever. And I mean, if you want to stay there, that's fine. I'm not here to tell you otherwise. So Meredith says, I found out, oh, I read that comment. Know that victim mentality too well from the class action suit. Oh, yes. Yeah. So you can see how when you're in it, especially, oh my gosh, when you're in it, when I was in that situation with my work, I could like, I was just in it. I was in it, you know, and so many other people would be in it with me. Ooh, you know, and I think that's why we want to tell people. So stop telling people your victim story. Shut up. One of my teachers is like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. I love that because it's like, yeah, like seriously, just shut up. Do not tell anyone about it. Journal about it if you need to. It's okay to like vent your frustrations to yourself, but stop speaking it. Speak it to God if you need to. And so we've been focusing on this concept of like our creativity. And I feel like this is so tied because people will be like, hey, I want this thing. I want a partner. I want some like sort of like I want money or I want like magic to do this thing for me in the material world. But I can tell you, okay, so I want a new tarot deck, for instance. Okay, I'm going to do some magic so those new cards come my way. Well, it's going to really be very clear what shows up. I have to be at least be willing to see what shows up that unconsciously might be holding me from getting that new deck, what might be unconsciously or consciously holding me from finding those that like partner or bringing in that financial abundance or whatever. And that's the hard part. To me, I associate this with writing a book or writing music, completing a project. You go through ups and downs through the process of it, right? It's like it might start really easy and you got that like riff, the sound in your head, but then as it comes to building more of the pieces, the layers to it, you get to hit all sorts of edges where you're like, oh my gosh, and you just want to give up, right? But this is part of the learning process. This is part of it. So we do the magic, we do the ritual to support it. And I'm going to share a few things here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts too. What are some ways that you've used magic to boost your creativity? Or if you have questions about this, please, just put them in the chat. Hello, Charlotte. I just came in, was thinking of you the other day. Oh, cool. Hello, hello. Oh, the lesser banishing. Yes. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I'm well. Okay. So the main thing I would say, because there's so many different levels of magic, whether of what that might look like for you. We are going to go through one of the divine names of God, the Shem HaMephorash, because, that's just one. To me, it's like take it back to the source. Take it back to the source. I'll guide you through a meditation there. There's a link to the book if you want to get that too. But to me, connecting through prayer, connecting to spirit, to the planets, their archetypes, to the tree of life and the spheres that might be associated with certain parts of what you're going through. So for me, when I say that, I'm instantly thinking, so Bina, the sphere of like the great sea or the mother, is tied to Saturn, and it's also linked us to time. Maybe you have some issues with time when you really get into like, okay, I want to like write more. I want to create more music. I want to, get my art out into the studio or like, oh my God, some place where gallery where people can like purchase it. But you're finding when you really look at your life that you just don't have the time or space to do that. You might want to work with that sphere and be like, okay, show me, how do I like move my life so that I can create more space and have the time to do this thing. Like this is kind of what I'm referencing, right? So you can do all sorts of different practices where you connect with a particular archetype or correspondence, as it's called, a planet, a god or goddess, and specifically ask them to help you with that. You could set it up on your altar, a space for them where you go every day for like at least a week, I would say, and just have honest conversations and be like, this is what I'm going through. Show me what's that step? How do I like support with shifting this thing so that I can have more of what I'm willing to create? And I think that's like a really great devotional practice. It can be, it builds up like a sense of momentum. If you're not sure which deity or spirit or whatever to work with, I just say just ask the universe, okay, well, who's going to help me with this? Who's going to show up? Who's going to really be the best guide, the best energy to show me what I need to know? And it'll show up. These gods are like beyond our comprehension. So, but be open to what it could be. You might like not actually, you might have stories of like, oh, it can't be that, or it has to be this, or whatever the case. What I've learned over the years working with all sorts of different spirits, entities, demons, things that I don't know, angels, divine names, it's like we are the ones that put our judgments on these beings when in actuality all that these want to do is like take us to that next place, to help us in our evolution, right? This evolution that, as I talk so much on this channel, it's about this repairing of the earth, that tikkun olam, like the bringing us all the light kind of back to its source. And this is our role. This is our job. This is the evolution. And your art, the creations you want to make, this all is helping to evolve the world, humanity, the collective, and yourself. So that devotional sort of energy can be really helpful. We're going to talk about elemental magic, ritual magic like that. I'm going to read some of the comments though. Always nice. Ugh, that. I've been a little stuck in some areas, not moving forward. There are some big things I need to take action on, doing a lot of clearing on what's holding me back. Action. Yeah, I like that, Charlotte. You may want to check out my Fuck the Blocks 5 days to unleash your creativity. The link is pinned. You can go there, sign up, and more details will be sent to your inbox. We start February 2nd. And you guys, it's like a free thing, and it's going to lead to some other stuff that I just really want to support you with. Hey, because, you know, if you haven't watched my other videos recently, we've been talking about why it's so important right now. And there's a lot of transitions happening. You've just spent like the whole last year shedding all your old shit. You have one more, like, well, about a month or so to really let go of all the old things. So to me, this is all very timely. It's going to like support us, because what is needed next requires so much more self-expression, so much more authenticity, and so much more sharing what's on your heart. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be you being you and putting it out there. And so many people are sleeping. They're like just sitting on what that is. They're sitting on what it is they need to like put out there. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm spitting everywhere. I'm like, rah. And I was like that for a long time. I just, okay, that idea, I think it's good. And I kind of work on it. And then I like would just let it fall away. But now is the time. Now is the time. You have to, because it's needed. And like, if you don't, it's going to go to the next person. And you're going to like, I don't really believe you miss out on anything, I think, because it's just going to be a learning. But what if that could be your like, that next stage in your financial state that's really going to bring in a level of abundance and opportunities and love and connection? Just breathing that in, whatever that is for you. So anyway, you might want to check that out. Anyone watching, sign up. Bring it. You can learn at your own pace. Do the like little homeworky things that are going to be asked of you. It's not like heavy. But I mean, if you can't even do that, then like how serious are you about your art or your creations or the things you feel called? And again, that's no judgment, just on you. So elemental magic. Elemental magic, what I'm referencing in this case is literally like working with the elements of creation. So the beautiful thing about us as humans, oh my God, I kind of feel like a broken record sometimes, but like sometimes we have to hear these things multiple times. But the beautiful thing about us as humans is we were made in the eyes of the Creator. We were made in the likeness of the Creator, that God, universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it. And that is our role. That is like our ability here. And we've been given the 4 elements, fire, air, water, earth, to tune into what wants to come through. And the like, I want to say mathematical formulas or calculations that are required to create something. So when I talk elements, it's moving through air, which is your thoughts, water, which is your emotions, the things you feel like about what you're thinking you want to create. And then it goes into fire, the will, the ability to like point your energy and make it happen. And then to earth, the physical manifestation, the like end result, the manifested form of what it is you're creating. So you can almost like reverse engineer what that looks like if you can't, or move backwards. So if you have like an end product in mind, which is really just your thought, kind of funny how they like intersect that way, then it's like, it's going to bring in an emotion, right? It's going to bring some feeling that's going to show up for you. And you can pick that feeling emotion, you can pick that feeling of sensation, depending how you perceive energy. Usually it's like a juicy, excited feeling. And when you can follow the thoughts into that emotional state, that like feeling state, the sensations, and then ask it, okay, what's the next steps? Where are we going next? What needs to be done today? What's one step I can take today? And let it show you. You can do this every day. You can honor the elements with like putting them on your altar. Obviously, air, incense, water in a cup or chalice or a bowl. You got your fire, a candle. Maybe you do some candle magic. And then representation of the earth. Maybe you have a physical image or drawing or sigil or something you create or a picture of what it is that you, or even words, right? Something that's like in a physical form that you are then able to tangibly see and connect with. And you can have like earthly elements, like crystals or rocks or soil, a plant, whatever that looks like for you. And really just spend time connecting with whatever that is and intending for it to guide you on your creative journey. This, I think, can be really powerful because it's like really reminding you that you are that magician, you are that creator, you have that power, and it's honoring the parts that make you who you are, right? We are all that, like physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, those four elements, dare I say. So these are just some concepts you can like practice. I invite you to check out. We're going to do, like I said, a short meditation here at the end, connecting to the divine names. Because to me, working with the names, kind of like, again, is this connection to source. It's a connection to like the highest truth of our being. And it uses like the Hebrew language. To me, that is like a very ancient language that is very well connected to like an original source of where it came from. Whatever that might mean for you, you might have hangups working with like Kabbalah and Judaism or whatever. I don't really care about your political views around it. To me, I care about what is going to like contribute greater to my life and to humanity's life, not what people of the past have done or what other people have chosen as part of their learning journeys. Now, how do I make a better choice? How do I make the world a better place? Magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. So the divine names, 72 names, the book, if you want to get a copy, but we're going to go through one of the names here in a bit, where we're going to literally meditate on the name. I'm going to vibrate the name. You know, you can do this however you feel called. I share practice like approaches in the book of how you can really use it to like shift your magic into like, or your manifestation based on what you want to create. But this one in particular is going to help us with really just touching like the great mystery. Being in creative flow and being in the state of creation is being in the unknown. As uncomfortable as it is, it's like funny because I'm like such a control freak. Sometimes I'm like the unknown, what? And yet also like in those spaces of creativity, I'm learning. I'm like, I actually really enjoy it. It's like exciting. Ooh, where is this gonna go? I have one little like idea, just like a little concept. I write it down. I play it on the guitar, on the piano, whatever, and it starts to show into something greater. You have to be willing to be still, to receive these messages from spirit. And the aim is to use this knowledge, as I said, not just for ourselves, but for the next generations, this legacy that we're building, the earth. So we're going to use this. It's going to help us to merge the spiritual and the physical. It's going to help you to bring maybe those concepts of your creativity into the material world. And it's going to be fun. Things may show up for you today or in the next week. Just go with the flow of it. Journal about it. Write it down. Do these practices I talked about. And we're going to pull a card here for us to see what our challenge is this week. That's also going to help us to bring that like bridging. Okay. Hello, Roger Washington. Hi. I'm going to read some of the comments. I'm working right now. That's okay. Nice for you to be here. Hi, Jack. Ron. You're allowed to have your political beliefs. Okay. So let's see. What is the card for us for this week? What's a challenge that's really going to help us to boost? That's going to be our magic, boost our creativity, and have some fun. I'll show you the card here. These are the Marina Abramovich cards. I should put a link for you if you want to purchase these. They're cool. She's quite the artist. She's quite very much a sorcerer, in my opinion, and that's kind of like what creates change, right? But it says, find an object you love. Find an object you hate. So you're going to find one object that you love and one object that you hate and write about each of them without editing yourself. And the duration for this is as long as it takes. So probably take a picture of it and share it on the channel. But literally just find two things, something you love, something you hate. I don't know if I have anything near me that I hate, but I've just been going through cleansing and purging everything. I think I got rid of all that, hopefully. Maybe like house cleaner or something I could write about, because that just makes me think I have to clean. But you're going to find an object you love and an object that you hate, and then write about each of them without filtering or editing yourself. Just put it down, what shows up. And yeah, see what emerges. The reason we do these is like it unlocks something, like I mentioned. So if you're feeling stuck, stagnant, not able to move beyond whatever blocks you're experiencing, and you want a really practical practice, this is going to help you. And also joining me for 5 days, fuck the blocks, which I'll put here again. Oh no, that's not what I'm putting. You don't need to see all my stuff, you guys. That's boring. But I'll share it here in the chat, and then we're going to go into our meditation. If there's any questions or anything, you can let me know. Hi, Heather. Heather's in bloom. Hello. I think some of you have commented on things. I haven't really responded to comments recently in the last like day and a bit. I'm just life's happening. Things are happening. It's fun. I ended up going to the zoo actually yesterday, which was really cool too. Oh, thank you. Wood the Draftsman. Thank you for that donation. May it return to you tenfold. You can ask a question. I'll do my best to answer if I can. And then we'll go into the meditation. But yeah, it was interesting going to the zoo. You know, it's winter here, so kind of like left me wondering what exactly is there going to be to like explore in the outdoor zoo in Canada. But I learned a lot of things. I learned like camels, they actually do grow hair and like live in the snow. You know, the camels they had were from like the Gobi Desert. So I believe that's like northern Iran. Someone can quote me if I'm off about that. But they had so much hair. Like growing up in the Middle East, we saw camels, but I had never seen them like that. That was so cool. Yeah, I don't know what I think about the zoo. I don't know what I think about the zoos and holding animals in captivity, and kind of left me wondering a bit about that, you know? And then also having like gratitude for the animals that were there, for like sharing their medicine with us to like teach us things. And I had a conversation, I was like, that's what I call it, conversation, connection with like this falcon that was there. And it had like blue, almost like blue feathers. It was quite like large, and its eyes were just like piercing. And I was kind of standing right beneath on the side, and it was like tracking me for sure. It was tracking. And I just like looked in its eyes, and I was like, tell me your story. You know, I'm like, is it like sad for you in there? And it just kind of was like, this is all I know. It was kind of like quite a reassurance for me. But then also I felt like this, just a bit of compassion for the animal. Anyways, well, Draftsman, maybe your question will come in a bit. We're going to move on to the meditation. So, as always, you guys, whatever this needs to be for you, just trust the process. We are meditating on this 11th name of the Shem HaMepharash, Lamed, Aleph, Vav. So when we read Hebrew, we read it from right to left. It's opposite. This is the talisman for this name that was created for the book. We have the astrological connections, the tarot connections, which is the Seven of Discs, which I love because we have the seven linked to Netzach, the sphere that's of art and beauty. And then we have the divine, like tetragrammaton at the top, and its appropriate configuration for this name, and its sigil at the bottom. So Lamed, Aleph, Vav. Just listening, meditating as you hear and connect with your body and your breath. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Just allowing your exhales to become a little bit more prolonged than the inhale. Seeing it almost as that bottom sigil, the extended down line is just a little bit longer. And you can tune now into where it is that you are in your life, your creative ventures, the place in which you're feeling the call to create, but like not where you want to be, it's where you are right now. Whether you like it or not, no judgments. Maybe feeling a bit of the pull of like, oh, I just really want to move from here. And I'm here right now, and that's okay. And as we go through vibrating the name and you scan the letters from right to left, hearing the vibration, you can shift that thought and awareness to where it is you want to go. What type of creativity are you calling in? What sort of actions are you calling in? What vision for yourself are you envisioning here? And just allowing that awareness, that vision, as you hear the vibration. Lamed Aleph Vav. 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 Lava. 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 Love. 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 Just allowing your eyes to gently close, feeling the stillness inside, letting the thoughts and vision go as you remain with your body present here. Lamed Aleph Vav. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried unto my God. Out of his temple he heard my voice, and my cry came before him unto his ears. The Lord of success unfulfilled. We move through that seven of discs. So as you return to the space with open eyes, just trusting the path is opening for you, trusting that everything is working out. Everything's working out. And you have the power of magic at your disposal. You have the ability to make the changes in your world as you wish them to be. In your world. You can't go around changing everyone else's life. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, at least you could, but it's probably going to backfire on you. So it's not worth it. And until then, if there's no other questions, I don't see questions being typed here, Wood the draftsman. But until then, find an object that you love and an object that you hate and spend time writing about both of them without editing or filtering yourself and see what shows up. If you'd like to join me on February 2nd, I'll be sharing more details and encouraging that. But there is that fuck the blocks. Let's shift this energy, work together, and support you with really bringing this self-expression, this authenticity into your creative projects, into the world, allowing your heart to just be shared out. Freaking love it. Meredith says, I love that the Lord of Success. Yeah, right. That's kind of ironic. I think it's the Lord of Failure too. It's the other name. So it's like, again, these opposites. Everything is just these paradoxes, but it is what it is. So, well, yeah, you guys, thanks for being here. Always lovely to have you. Thanks for your donations, your time, your energy, your willingness to do this work right on your own together. Check out that link. It's there, and I hope to see you. And yeah, I guess next week we'll connect for our next live. So until then, bye.